Hello, everybody. This is Peace, Love, Harmony here with Hound One Validator. We're doing the Elected Validator series, and we have Patrick Easy Node here with us. Happy to give him an interview. And please like and share this video and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. And let's start off with asking Patrick if you want to give us a little brief overview about yourself to start off.
Sure. Yeah, I started off a validator last year in March and was elected by April and I've been elected since then. And when I went through building the validator, I realized that a lot of people might need some help with it. So I wrote some guides for that and then later wrote some software out to help people who are already validators make it a little easier. And yeah, was on VDAO 1. So that was, it's been a fun experience over the last year.
Thank you for your remarks. And let's start with questions, if you may. When did you decide to become a validator? When did you decide to become a validator, and what made you decide to become one for Harmony Protocol?
Sure. Yeah, I had looked last year in early February at being a validator, and at the time I thought, it's a little too expensive, and I wasn't sure if I'd make enough back doing it. So I waited a little bit longer until the price went up, and then decided to do it. Paid a lot more than I should have to start validating. But I got into it because the technology, how fast Harmony is, and how cheap it is to do transactions when MetaMask isn't setting your gas to 3,000. It goes pretty well. So that's why I got into Harmony, the tech and the team. So
Nice. Have you been a validator for any other blockchains, or if so,
I've run some mining equipment for Ethereum and some other projects like Verge and things like that in the past. And I actually got into doing SETI and folding at home in like 2008 and 9. So it was like shared computing that searched for extraterrestrial life. So you just set up old PCs to run Linux, and it was kind of like cloud mining in a way. They'd use your processor to search for stuff in the sky or whatever. So that's how I started off with stuff like that, and then heard about Bitcoin, but I didn't get into that as much as I should have at all, which is, at all would have been fine. But I didn't, so I kind of looked at it. I probably did it for a while, and there's a wallet out there somewhere with some coins in it. And then I moved on to mining with the video cards on Ethereum, and that was okay. But I was doing that for somebody else. I didn't buy the cards or even bother on my own. I just found proof of staking from there and how much better the tech was, and went, well, I already know cloud servers, so this works out pretty well.
Thank you. Was it difficult for you to find the requirements needed for a Harmony validator node?
No, at the time, it was a lot less hardware requirements. I think my actual first signing server was $12 a month or something like that. So at the time, it seemed pretty great, and how affordable it would be.
How much was the 10,001 self-stake in value when you first started? Was it quite a bit?
$513 the day I did it. When I bought the 1,000 or 10,000 put in there. Yep. So
Nice.
5.13 cents at the time.
Nice.
Wow, very nice. Do you have experience in Linux already before you started your node?
Yeah, I've been using Linux every day for many years, so I'm pretty familiar with it already. And I've been on DigitalOcean for years, so I have a couple Twitter things that run scripts and retweet things if it finds them on Twitter. But that's about, the projects I got on with that. So,
with your Linux experience, did you still start out on testnet, or did you? Do you still suggest people to start out on testnet either way? Or?
Yeah, either way, I mean, Validator or the VDAO one we were on, for the education, we were really going to aim for having just a few marks for people to qualify for backing to go on testnet, add a key for an epoch, take a key off for an epoch. Okay, now you've done it all, and you should have enough experience to be able to do that on mainnet. And I didn't think that was too much of a requirement, but something like that is pretty good experience to get. Rather than on the fly and messing something up live on the blockchain, and then somehow you're missing signatures for 12 hours and get deactivated or whatever happens. Things happen, and it's easier to get through them on testnet than it is to try to fight them on the mainnet.
Did you started with 0% commission?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For how long?
I stayed at 0%. Well, until June when the 100 epoch countdown started, and I made it through, I think, about half of that before I decided I had to add a small fee. So I went to 2.5% for most of that. The rest of that until it was forced to 5.
How did you go about getting delegates before you were elected?
Before I was elected, I pretty much spammed Telegram on everybody else. No, yeah, that main way was Telegram, helping people out, just answering questions in the community chat, and I don't know. Eventually, people notice, I guess, if you're around.
Indeed. You told us that it took you like a month to get elected for the first time, right?
Yeah, I got elected by surprise with I had 50,001 in my own validator and got elected on epoch 495, and then it took 35 more epochs after that until I was then elected normally with a proper amount. And yeah, so there was one epoch early in March that it just slayed the validators who had never been on before, and probably made a bunch of validators inactive that hadn't been ready because it was way into the range of like 10,000 coins, one of those elections where somebody huge would disappear, like a KuCoin or a Binance, or maybe both at the same time, because that was pretty famous to happen back then. So
in that period of time, you said it was like 30 epochs before you started getting steadily elected. Were you ever thinking it was impossible to be elected steadily?
I mean, it was interesting because you'd get like a flow for a while and nothing would happen for weeks, and then so for sure at the start for a while there might be some doubt until once you hit 100,000, I think you're on your way to thinking it might be possible. I mean, that is if you started with the minimum 10K anyway.
Gotta go from the hold on, please.
How much time do you typically spend a day on your validator, whether it be checking on your node or helping out delegates?
Pretty much. I mean, lately it's not as much time as it is when you're trying to get elected at first, and when you're working on that, you definitely live 18 hours at a time, and you're up and checking and making sure everything's working. But after a while, we'll say once you get a little more comfortable where you don't have to worry about that as much, I probably spend maybe a couple hours, but I'm doing Harmony stuff all day lately. So Harmony all day is my thing right now. So working on learning some development stuff.
Nice.
Nice, pretty nice. Is your family supportive and understanding regarding what you do as a Harmony validator?
Yeah, my wife went to East Denver with me to hang out and check everything out, so she got to see it firsthand and just say, I had no idea what you guys are talking about. You sound crazy. But she enjoys it, and she's into she's a marketing specialist, so she likes it from that perspective because she easily knows how to help out and what she can do for me. So almost all my marketing stuff will come from her computer. So
Was the validator community helpful when you got started? If you had any questions, or did you have like a good place to go to get answers?
Yeah, the Pangea chat was there. That's pretty much the only thing that was available at the time. And then, yeah, I think there was one other chat back then that was short-lived and went away. But pretty much at the time, there weren't as many validators, so it was a little more difficult to find, answers or scroll through chats to find questions that people had asked and what the answer was. That's pretty much the way I did it, was just recon what everybody else had asked in the Discord and Telegram. And what do I need to know? Search for it. Okay, it's been answered. Yep, that works. All right.
Yeah. You want to talk with us more about your server setup when you started and how did it change?
Sure. When I started, I was running just a 2 or 4 core server on DigitalOcean on a shared CPU, and Shard Zero. The first time I posted my guide, Shard Zero was 25 gigabytes. So I didn't need any extra disks or volumes or any of that. That all was the evolution of things. Transactions grew on Harmony when they started at the end of March. That's really when the volume picked up. And yeah, it expanded rapidly right through June. Like the first time we had the little spam attack thing that really made the database go larger, I think. So for most of the time I ran on the shared CPU until that event, and then I started moving over to dedicated CPU systems. But currently I only run one server on OVH US. And it's a 12 core, 32 gigs and 2 terabytes of NVMe.
25 gigabyte Shard Zero. Those were the days.
Those were the days. Yep.
How many social media sites are you on, and which ones are the most effective for you?
I have Twitter, Telegram. I have a Facebook page somewhere, but I don't do anything on Facebook or crypto, period. Most effective is probably Twitter. It's good. Telegram is just a mess, and Discord is fine once you get into servers and you turn off all the messages from people. So we're around on all that stuff. So
yeah. You do have a website, right? Do you want to talk with us about?
Sure. Yep. I've got a web app site called easynode.one, and it's got a little search box. And if you put your validator address in there, it'll show you a bunch of info on your validator, or if it's just a regular wallet, it'll show people their balances, especially if people have small amounts and they want to know what their balance is. It goes pretty deep on the digits. So you can send them there to say, see, you are getting rewards when they ask you about it. So I know the portal sometimes doesn't show all that many digits on it.
Very handy website.
Oh, and then of course it's got all the guides and everything, links to all that stuff, and NFT collections and things like that. So Harmony stuff too.
That was going to be my next question too. Is you must write your own wallet guides and everything too.
Yeah, there's the guide. I have a guide. I left the classic guide up that kind of goes with the docs on Harmony. You match up the software sections and it'll tell you what to look for on each page that you need to know. So for people who are setting up the first time, that kind of helps out. And then I have the newer guide for running the Validator toolbox with the installer and that stuff once you're more familiar with it to use that route.
It was on mute, sorry. Where do you think is the best place to keep up with what's happening in Harmony almost in real time?
Pretty much just the announcement channels for, I guess it depends on what you're trying to keep up with. Validator stuff, definitely the Validator announcements channel. News-wise, that's a little tougher. Probably the best place to keep up. The community chat's pretty good, but just watching people outlets. I don't know if there's any really great news outlets for Harmony yet on Telegram, but you see that the top people talk about stuff pretty quick when things happen. So on Twitter.
What would you say has been the most difficult part about being a validator for you?
Yeah, I think just the initial getting delegations is the hardest thing to do and get over and figure out where you can, fit in and start having good results with the messages that you're putting out there. And it does help if you jump in and start doing something that you can also talk about while you're shilling your validator. If you also throw out, but I also did all this stuff to help you guys out. If you want to check it out, and if you're thinking about being a validator, also read this stuff. It gets people into it that way. That's pretty much how I got in there.
And what has been the rewarding part about being a validator?
I think just helping people out when they have problems with it, and helping people make that universal income by staking with you. You're just earning alongside them. So,
Is there any mistakes that you made along the way that you wish you could have avoided?
Not so much along the way, I guess. One time I think I had a problem with auto bidder, so I've never had a problem with that since then. It's if there's, I guess, if at the time if there would have been some better training or resources on it, because obviously not much info on that around the community. That one's kind of a secretive thing that takes a while to learn about, but really once you're doing it right, it's totally fine and runs on its own. There's nothing to worry about. It's just if playing the number game, you can run into some danger sometimes with
it. What's the biggest bill you have paid from overages in cloud servers?
Right. Luckily, because I've been with DigitalOcean for a long time, I have a big coverage on overages. And since we caught it in time, I just moved providers during that. So I ended up, I want to say my biggest bill on DigitalOcean was $230, but for 1 month. So a little more. The server I have now from OVH is I prepaid for 1 year and they give you a discount for doing that. It worked out to be like $125 a month, something in that area. So that's my current expenditure monthly.
I skipped one of the questions that's pretty important. What's been the most rewarding part about being a validator for you?
I think just helping out all the other validators with tools I've made and guides and stuff like that. So it's for a long time we didn't have anybody that failed at attempting to become a validator, and that was pretty good. And only lately with the way prices have gone up and things are going on with how much hardware costs, knocked some people out recently. But I've been getting in contact with a lot of people who've been thinking about it lately, and I think we'll have a good resurgence here with the price dipping again. Some other people are probably thinking about it. So,
how did you get your validator name?
I made it when I made the software tools. Once I came along with the guide, I wanted to make installation easy, so I just went with Easy Node for the easy tools, the easy guide, easy everything on Harmony. Just making it simpler.
Yes, it is.
Do you promote your validator any different now than you did when you started?
Yeah, I don't really promote it, period, other than just on my own Twitter. So I don't really know who I'm reaching out to that isn't already around. But I'm doing okay. I think I have like 12.5 million in delegations at the moment. So I really haven't. I stopped when I get over 10 million. I just kind of stopped advertising because I think that's pretty good, safe area where as long as you don't drop back down, you really don't have to get out there and get in the spotlight. We got plenty of room for other people to have bandwidth.
Use any Telegram bots like VStats, Smart Stake, etc.
Yeah, both of those. VStats, Smart Stake, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything that you want to say about like the importance of filling out the validator contact forms and why it's important to be able to get in touch with validators when the validator DAO needs to, since you're a past governor?
Right, for sure. I mean, it's if you want to get help when your validator goes down, someone from the validator DAO will reach out to you if there's at least one avenue to reach you. You know, when you're having problems. The only real complications come when, you know, corporations and businesses who are disconnected from the validators run into problems and they're not around to answer the calling. So that's, you know, day one when Validator DAO 1 started up, we said we needed to get in touch with them, and I still don't think that's happened to this day. So if that thing ever gets done, that would be great, where you could have the info of somebody at Binance or KuCoin to go, hey, this one's chart is down. Tell them exactly which server so they know which is offline. We can tell. It's not hard, you know, so that'd be great to get that communication open, because we could have probably avoided shutting down in January if we could have got a hold of somebody to say, run the upgrade. Run number 12 in the easy tools, and it'll be ready to go.
Yes. Well, those are all the questions we have for you today. Do you have any closing remarks you want to share?
No, not really. I'm just working on, I am going to do some, like a high level view of validating and what it is to become a validator. And then I may be involved with some other teaching and education stuff pretty soon to help even more people come online. But, you know, I think the climate is going to change more of people with DApps and programs now starting to run validators rather than individuals, which is kind of sad, but we'll see. Hopefully we get a few more individuals who get into it before everyone gets priced out when we go to the moon, right?
Right. Well, we're definitely happy that you took the time to do this interview, and we appreciate everything you do for the validator community, and we're glad that you're gonna be part of the mentorship program classes too. So thank you very much, and
Yep, that's good.
hope everybody enjoyed the video and learned something from it. And please make sure you like and share it and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, everybody.